Wiki.
Make the AIs do the things. Yes.
All right. Why don't you take us in?
I will take us in. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, and welcome to the Blurring the Lines podcast, episode 231. I am your host, Peter Nikolaidis, and joining me as always is my co-host, Adam Bell.
That's me.
That is you.
How's it going, Peter?
I gotta say, it's going anywhere from good to great.
Good to great.
I've been having several good weeks on all fronts.
It's only going to get better, I promise.
You know what? Everything is great as long as I don't read the news or look outside my window.
Yeah.
Wonderful. But personally speaking, everything for myself is going great.
Good. That's good to hear.
Yep. Most predominantly, I'd say running. I'll be doing about 13 and a half miles again tomorrow.
Nearly, or all of them?
13.6 is the plan. Now the plan, I did 13.6 actually about 3 weeks ago because I wandered off course. My running plan had only called for around 11 or so, but I was doing a 12 and a half mile circuit. But when all was said and done, the GPS phone watch all said, yep, that was 13.61 miles. And I was like, well, I'll bank those.
I did. I ran cross country in high school as our add-on sport to football, because we didn't have football season all year. And 1 year I was doing a 7-mile run, and I accidentally cut a section off the course. I didn't do it intentionally. I mean, it wasn't marked well, and I cut it off. And I heard
this is a safe space. You can tell us you were cheating.
Yeah. But my teammates were behind me, as well as some other school, and the other school's like, "Hey, you can't cut," and I'd already gone too far to turn around and come back. And they're like, "Hey," so I guess at that point I was cheating because I was aware that I'd cut it off. But I wasn't 100% sure. I didn't know what they were yelling. And then I heard my teammates tell them to shut the blank up. And and we were country boys at that point. So they never said anything, but I cut off a little bit of time from my run, but I also didn't really do the whole course. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So it goes.
Anyway, you'll have days like that.
You have days like that.
I did a very informal, hot dog run last year.
Oh, that's where you ate a hot dog and drank a beer, wasn't it?
Correct. A beer, a dog, and a mile. Oh. And after I looked at my map afterwards, I realized that on at least one, I don't remember now, but on at least one of the loops around the neighborhood, I did end up turning too soon. So I cut like one block off of it. Now, here's the thing. I felt badly because I came in overall. I came in third overall. Again, not because I'm a fast runner, but because I'm a fast eater.
Yeah.
But I felt badly about that until I realized that one time when I did that, I followed the leader who actually was first. So I was like, well, two wrongs don't make a right, but
yeah. Well, and is it really to your advantage to make getting to the hot dog and beer faster? I mean, because you really need some space for it to move out of your gut for the next one.
Well, I did most of that moving while I was running, and it generally 1 mile, give or take. Was sufficient to down one of those.
What's 2/10 of a mile among friends?
Yeah, whatever. It was a freaking hot dog run.
Oh, that's cool.
So what else? What's new?
So I thought the other day, I was like, man, I need to do push-ups. And you know what? Even if Peter's not going to do push-ups, I'm going to report push-ups. That way there's something, I'll have something, because if I tell you I did push-ups, you'll tell me something. I mean,
I will tell you something.
You tell me something. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to send it on. So I did my push-ups, and you sent back something. you
I
know.
did send back something. So you
And
did.
then
I don't remember how many you did.
I think I only did like 10 because I figured I was like, I'm going to do 10 today and 20, and you know, I'm going to progressively get up. And and then the other day you sent 5. You were like, oh, well, I can't do it. I'm not cleared. My shoulder's not cleared for push-ups yet, which is fair, completely fair. And then you sent 5. Like, really? Peter did? He was cleared to do 5 push-ups?
Did 5 whole push-ups, yes. And what I meant to do too was a few days prior to that, I did 90 wall presses.
Yeah.
And I forgot to report that to you. So I was going to say 90 wall presses, which is just 3 sets of 30, which are, you know, the super weak near vertical push-ups.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But there you go. But I did them. So yeah, it's slowly starting to come back. You know, I've got pretty much full functionality on the shoulder. PT's getting, you know, significant, doing like 25-pound rows and doing body weight rows on the TRX. So it's coming back. It's coming back. So feeling good so far.
We're not too old to get better.
I hope that never happens.
Yeah. So that brings me, you know, I'm in the worst shape of my life right now. And I'm trying, you know, I've already started. So, you know, we'll talk about it here in a minute, but I went fishing last week, and of course, you know, me and 3 other guys, you know, we drank beer the whole time. I mean, the whole, you know, so, you know, lunch, dinner, you know, and of course we're just fishing. So, well, I say we're just fishing, but you know, you go out for 45 minutes in a boat, in a little boat. And so you're doing a lot of core exercises, just, you know, staying in the boat and then going. So I didn't feel so bad about that. But I hurt my knee in April, and I haven't been running for a while. I couldn't walk without a significant limp.
Yeah.
So it slowed me way down. You know, I normally do a 17.5 minute mile walking the dog.
Okay.
I was doing 19 and 20-minute miles, which are, I mean, 3 minutes slower, but I mean,
if you're injured, that's not that bad, you know?
Yeah. But, and there were days, and I didn't do, normally I do 2 every day, you know, once in the morning, once at night with the dog. And, I wasn't doing that consistently. So getting back into the consistency, the alcohol's gone. Cleaning up my diet, man, you know, some people say, or I mean, you cutting out sugar altogether is almost impossible. I mean, you can't even eat French fries without ketchup with sugar in it, you know?
That's the thing. And now what, when you say without sugar, the question is that without adding any sugar, or is that there is no sugar in the food that you're eating? Like, because a tomato will have sugar in it.
Yeah. And that's all open to the interpretation. For me, I'm going to avoid things that I absolutely know have too much sugar in them, like a piece of cake, a cake with icing, I know has sugar in it.
That was kind of a giveaway.
But I eat a banana, I know it has fructose sugar in it. But is it the same as eating a piece of cake? No, it is not. So I'm getting rid of I'm taking the cake out of the diet, and, you know, backing all that off, and see how far I get with simply doing that, not doing a completely clean keto, or, you know, picking up on some heavy diet, increasing the activity, decreasing the garbage, getting rid of the alcohol.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
And I'm sure I'll get to a point where I'm like, oh, well, this is as far as it's going to get.
You'll hit that round, you know.
Yeah.
I've been doing, you know, something similar. So I went pretty serious, you know, changing my diet back in February. Didn't really see much change. Now I've been feeling good. And, you know, with work, I've been at several work sales network events where, you know, alcohol has been served. And I was at one, I just went to a networking event a few days ago, and I had a regular old wheat beer. But then for my follow up, I was like, you know what? I'll have an athletic. I'll have an IPA, upside dawn or whatever,
Yeah.
non-alcoholic. And I'm okay with that, And I was going to buy some more, and then I realized the last time I was up here in Vermont about 3 weeks ago, I bought a 6-pack of non-alcoholic beers and stuck it in the fridge and forgot them. So I already have them here already, so no excuses. But cutting back, like occasional glass of wine here and there, I'm okay with, but not, definitely I'm not doing more than 1 drink per day. And I'm usually not doing more than 1, maybe 2 per week. So, which, it's not ideal, but I think it's acceptable. It's tolerable. So the other night I started coming down with a little bit of a cold again. And for 2 nights in a row, I had 1 ounce of vodka and I just sipped it. And between that and the neti pot with hydrogen peroxide, I think I killed whatever was brewing, and I'm feeling back to normal today. So
cool.
Medicinal vodka shot.
I wish I could figure out whatever the combination is to where I wake up in the morning and I feel good. And I have days where I have no right to feel good in the morning. Like I will have drank, or the night before I'll have a pizza, 3 beers, and brownies and ice cream, and I'll wake up and I think I feel awesome. Where last night I had a clean I had a clean day. I exercised, I worked outside, I sweat, I went to bed, no alcohol. I got up this morning, I felt like crap.
I know the feeling. Like Wednesday night I was at this networking event again, and I had like a couple of fillets, fried chicken, breaded and fried. And that was probably what did it.
Oh,
but, that, a slice of pizza, a bunch of pretzel bites, and a bunch of, for the first time, I had fried pretzel chips.
Fried pretzel? I've never heard of that.
Sorry. Fried pickle chips.
Pretzels.
Yes. Fried pickle chips. I never had fried pickles before.
Oh, I love them.
Given I'm somewhat colorblind, I did not see the greenish hue in them. So I thought it was like, oh, look, just crinkle cut chips. Yeah. That's a pickle. Good though.
Yeah. I like it.
So that was fun. But I definitely went overboard on the calories that night, and a lot of fat and fried stuff. Did not sleep well. Not sleep well at all. Went out last night, had dinner, went to a wine tasting first. We're talking like sips, tiny little sips. Had 1 beer at dinner and a chicken breast with like a fried smashed potato. It's like I don't remember what it was called, but you take a potato and then they smash it so it's just like chunks and different, not a mashed potato, it's not, but then you chop up the mashed bits, so you have all these different irregular shapes and sizes of this giant smashed potato. It was delicious.
Oh, cool.
And and then I felt fine the next day. This morning I felt great. So, but today is officially a rest day though, because in my training plan I've done 3 days over the last 3 days up to this one. I've run 21 miles, or about 20 and a half miles so far.
Nice.
And so 13 and a half tomorrow will round out the week, but the mileage is starting to become noteworthy. So 30, I'm at 33, 35 miles a week, and then it'll be up to 40 in a couple of weeks. And so it's like,
big time.
I can do running again, and it feels amazing.
Yeah, good. Cool. All right. So it is middle of June right now. We're going to hit the summer. When's our summer solstice? Is it in 2 days?
It's right up. It's real soon now. If it's not tonight, it's
something.
Yeah.
So so right now is lavender season as far as cutting them. So you got like 2 or 3 weeks where you're watching the lavender, because you want to get the flowers to their fullest. The fullest blooms, and they're little tiny flowers along the stalk or the stem that shoots out. And so they're in full bloom now, and we're cutting them. And of course, it's been raining off and on, and then it's 100% humidity when it's not raining. So I'll be back out there. So the last 2 nights I've been out cutting lavender and hanging lavender, and so I got to go out cut some more. But my entire house smells like lavender. So it's in the barn, but I've got an industrial grade dehumidifier going in there.
Okay.
So it's sucking the moisture out of the room as well as the lavender plants. But it really smells good, and it's very calming in here right now.
I was gonna say there are worse things to have your house smelling like than lavender.
Yeah, fresh cut lavender, not even like the soapy lavender. No, this is the real deal.
Real deal lavender.
Real deal.
It's funny you mentioned that because I have the heat pumps and the HVAC units at my place in Vermont, and I showed up. No one's really been here for the last 3 weeks, and I came in, and it's pleasantly comfortable. Feels like they're doing their job. Just keeping the humidity down, and that's a nice, refreshing feeling. To come in and it's not like stale and moldy and stuff. So. I was like, well, I'm happy with that.
Cool. Do you run the air all the time, or do you run dehumidifier or something?
It's on drying mode.
So it's supposed to be like a dehumidifier.
Yes. It's supposed to dehumidify, and only kicks in cooling if the temperature gets like excessive. But like right now, I had all of the AC, all the drying mode temperature set to 74 degrees, but in most places in the house, it's like in the high 60s.
Okay.
So it's not actively trying to cool it, but it does feel, comfortably not humid.
Yeah. In Tennessee, if we wanted to do the equivalent to that would be about 10 degrees higher if I wanted to do the same thing, because it's about 10 degrees hotter here.
Yep. Well, it's also about 10 degrees hotter down in Massachusetts right now too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely hotter down there. So yeah, notice the difference for sure.
Yeah. So we've got that done, or got lavender going. So Elizabeth will be here tonight to help me cut the. I'll do all the cutting, and then she'll help hang them, which will help speed it up. So then, last week I was fishing in the Bahamas, which is one of my, semi-annual trips. You came and visited last time I was there in 2023.
That was a fun trip.
Yeah. So we've got, so I was there for bonefish, to catch bonefish, tarpon if we saw them. And we weren't expecting to see any tarpon because it's not a huge tarpon area at that time of year. So I actually did see a tarpon. Saw lots of sharks. So I'll talk about that here in a second, but lots of sharks. But I caught a lot of bonefish. It was a really successful trip for me. I caught more bonefish than I've ever caught, even down there. And bonefish are spooky little fast fish. I mean, so they're not exactly easy to catch. I mean, if you want to fish with shrimp, you'll catch bonefish pretty often. But I'm fishing with fly, which makes them harder. But anyway, so the thing that was really annoying was the sharks are protected in the Bahamas. Sharks like to eat bonefish.
The apex predators are protected. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Oh yeah, wait, that's us screwing things up again. Okay, got it.
So then if you get so the sharks come around when you motor in, and then they're waiting for you to catch bonefish so they can come steal them off your line, which is annoying. And I mean, it'll swing around. I mean, they'll, the shark are protected because they were being overfished and overkilled, and they do serve a purpose. But we have to go through pendulum swings. It never like finds this perfect balance of, we're at the happy meet. There are sharks around. They're doing now we got to have too many sharks, and then we got to kill them off again. Then we have too many sharks. So I would say that we're approaching the too many sharks phase again.
I got a question for you. Who did all that work to keep the balance in the ecosystem and stuff before we came along?
I don't know. I don't know who they were. I mean, was it the Cromangans? No, I don't.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
must have been them. They were out there on their boats tallying up how many sharks there were. They would turn like,
Take a long. It
too
takes a
many
long
sharks.
time to tally it up in the wood or the metal or stone tablet there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chip, 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 chip.
No, I mean, I get, well, in all fairness, we've screwed up a lot of the ecology, we've screwed up the balance a lot too.
Yeah.
With our progress.
That's where I was going with that.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was good. So it, slightly different, but on topic. So if you were paying a fishing guide to take you fishing, what would be one of your expectations?
That we go to a place with fish.
Exactly. And what would you expect to do with these fish?
I would expect. I think here's where the catch, the trick question comes. I would expect to catch the fish.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, these guides,
two
for two. These guides, they do feel the pressure of you need to catch fish. And so on the first day of fishing, the guide wants to, I'm taking you fishing today, Peter. We're going to go to the easiest spot that I know that you're going to catch fish so that you're going to start the week right. And you're going to be a happy angler. So we go, this is my third time going fishing at this location. Okay. So I knew that. And my buddy that I go with, he knew that. So we knew that they were going to put us on, the kindergarten fish so that we would catch a whole bunch of fish and feel good about the whole rest of the week. So I told him, I said, this is our third trip here. We know how to fish here. We enjoy fishing here. You and I have talked before. So I've been out fishing near you and we've never fished together. So I was trying to take that weight off of him that he feels like he has to take us to the kiddie pool to make sure that we catch fish, because let's go ahead and go to the harder places, because that's why we're here. We're not beginner anglers anymore. Let's move on past this. What's he do? Takes us to the kiddie pool.
Right to the kiddie pool.
Right to the kiddie pool. So my buddy's fishing, and then he's like, here, take the spinning rod, put shrimp on and throw it out there. And I was like, all right. So I threw it out there, and I caught. Of course, I'm going to catch a fish on shrimp in the ocean, and we're seeing fish. We're in the kiddie pool, and I start catching. I said, man, is this helping my buddy catch? Because what I'm concerned about, I'm a considerate fisherman. If you are fishing, I want to make sure that me fishing does not interfere with you fishing. I don't want to tangle my line up in yours. I don't want you to tangle your line up in mine. And if we're in a small boat, we'll fish one at a time. You go, and while you're going, I'm going to be supportive of what you're doing. Like, oh, hey, go over there, or the fish is over. I'm going to be coaching you, and vice versa.
So it's not a zero-sum game.
Right.
The fish you catch doesn't take from what the fish he can catch.
Yeah. So, but he's got me casting the rod while my buddy's fly fishing, and we both are getting fish on at the same time. And I told the guy, I said, is this helping him? He said, no, it's just there are fish here and you can both catch fish. I'm like, I thought I told you I'm good. I mean, even if I don't catch fish, I'm good. I know how this happens. He said, yeah, you go ahead and cast out. I said, no, I'm not casting out there. I'm going to wait my turn to fly fish. But I get it. But I was like, what I thought I'd done was explain to him the situation and that he didn't have to feel that pressure. He didn't listen to that at all. I'm like, customer service to a fault. Yeah, he doesn't even know what he wants. I'm pretty sure I do.
Sigh.
Sigh.
Oh, well. But so did you manage to salvage it after that then, or?
Oh yeah, we kind of the guide and I had a little bit of head-to-head things, and he just didn't fit with me personality wise. But we got all right. We got along okay.
Okay. All right.
Make it happen.
There you go.
So yeah.
Fishing.
All right. Ready to switch gears. So
let's do it.
So Netflix series or Netflix movie. I don't know if you've seen it. Electric Dreams. You seen that?
I've not seen it. I've heard nothing but bad things about it.
Nothing but bad things?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was bad. I mean, so I was expecting a dystopian human robot war movie, and that's exactly what it is.
Well, wait, hold on a second. No, I'm sorry. That is not what I was thinking of. Wait, this is a TV show or a movie?
A movie on Netflix.
Oh, okay. Because apparently this was also a TV series.
Oh, television. Oh, yeah. That was pretty crappy. Hopefully I didn't call it the wrong thing, because I did watch Electric Dreams, and it was what's it called? Then Electric.
You're thinking Electric Chris Pratt.
Electric State. Electric State. Yes.
No, that is the one I had heard of, and that was the one that I heard was very bad.
Oh no, it's not bad. I mean, it is. I
mean, Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 14%, and IMDb gives it 5.9 out of 10.
Oh, it's way better than that. But I had zero expectations from it, so it's a bit cheesy, it's a bit campy, it's a bit predictable, and I wasn't expecting anything less. So, I mean, but what I thought was funny, I'm not done with it, but I've been enjoying. There's Jason Alexander's in there. The guy, I can't think of his name. He's actually like Costa Rican, but he's not Costa Rican. He's in a number of things. I'll think of him here in a second. He was in Star Wars, the Clone War, anyway, it's not important. I'll think of him here in a second. But it's got a number of people in there. But I think that Chris Pratt does.
Oh, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, he's in there.
Okay.
Yeah, Giancarlo, and I like him. And it's got Stanley. Is it Stanley? It's not Stanley Tucci,
No, it's not. If it wasn't good, it's not because of the cast. I mean, you've got lots of big names in here.
Yeah, but I think Chris Pratt makes dystopian not all that bad, because to me, I know Guardians of the Galaxy is an alternative universe to you and Marv, but to me it feels very dystopian, and I think he brings a kind of funny grounding to it where it takes the despair away.
Okay, all right. I can see that. I can see that with Pratt.
Yeah. So I thought that's funny. I mean, not funny, but whatever.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if I get really bored and I've run out of other things to look at, maybe I'll give it a look. So.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's worth 2 hours on your. Maybe it's something you're watching on the side, but I would think that it would be right up your alley.
All right.
I'll
keep it in mind. I'll put it back on the potential watch list and not the banned forever list.
All right, you got Diamonds Are Forever. So I'm hearing what's her name sing that song right now.
Yes,
James Bond.
Yes, well, that's what I've been doing. Is I have been working my way through the James Bond novels. Although I've been getting them through as audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
And so yes, I'm up to the fourth one. Diamonds Are Forever.
Mm-hmm.
I finished Moonraker about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Totally different from the movie the way I remember it.
Really?
Well, number one, without giving too much away, in the movie, and I suspect this was because it was like hot off the heels of Star Trek or Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie, Bond and MI5 and the good guys and the bad guys go into space and have like laser battles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen in the book. So it was very, I was like, oh, yeah, what? I was like, did I miss a bunch of chapters? You know, I had to go back and rewind, make sure I didn't fall asleep or something. Because sometimes I will go to sleep listening to a book.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I have to rewind and, you know, if I actually fall asleep while it's playing.
Right.
So, so I kicked that back and I was like, yeah, no, that's totally not the way I remembered it. Now, I only saw that movie once in the theater when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good long time ago.
Yeah.
But still, I'm like, yeah, I remember Space Battle. Didn't
was Jaws in Moonraker?
I think he was. He was in most, if not all, of the Roger Moore ones.
Because when did he first come in? He wasn't. Yeah, here's Roger Moore. So he wasn't in Dr. No.
Yep.
And he wasn't. Was he in? He wasn't in Goldfinger.
No, he might have been in brain cramp. I just the one with all the voodoo.
Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was Roger Moore.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he was only in the Roger Moore movies. I don't think he was in any of the Sean Connery movies.
Right.
And the order of the movies that came out is not the same as the order of the novels.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the novels are all set in I think the 50s or 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Very racist, very sexist. You know, there's a lot of that going on. Oh yeah, big surprise. So yeah, but yeah, that said, I still find them entertaining. You know, I try to take the good out and leave the bad behind. So.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. I'll have to rewatch those. You know, I've talked about John D. MacDonald a lot. He wrote books in the 60s, and while he uses terms that are not acceptable today, he never did it in a derogatory way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he did it as a descriptor, or but he was actually very, at the time, anti-racist and anti-sexist, really, which was kind of odd. Because there were lots. He was talking about during the time. He's like, yeah, talking about the oppression of African Americans at that time. He said, yeah, he was a soldier. He said, wait till you need cover and you've got one of these African Americans covering your butt, that your whole attitude will change about a man based on his color at that point.
There you go. Oh, man.
So
well, anyway, so yeah, Diamonds Are Forever. So that's my current entertainment that I'm doing on the side. So
that'd be fun.
So shifting gears to travel.
Yeah.
So I'm toying with the idea. I have a new real estate agent, and he is working on listing my rental property that I own. And since I'm going to be gone for a good long time in Germany, and I said, well, what if I was to go to Germany for a while and then come back for a week, do some work stuff, and then relocate somewhere else? And so I started thinking, what about someplace near, similar, or same time zone, maybe 1 hour shift or so. So I started looking at Central America and South America, and I enjoyed my time in Costa Rica. So I was thinking, you like Belize. And I was like, well, what if I looked at just, getting a place down there for 3 or 4 weeks? So I'm toying with the idea of traveling extended times. Now, if I do this, though, I don't want to leave the home just sitting there this whole time.
Right.
So my hope is that my real estate agent could do short-term rentals, like a travel nurse or something like that, for my house while I'm gone. So I'm toying with that idea. And the more I toy with it, the more fun it sounds. So, I'd have to clear out most of my personal possessions. I'd leave it furnished. So it's fully furnished, not going to move the furniture or anything like that. No. But, a lot of the stuff that I ended up moving down there from my folks' place, now my place up in Vermont, I would probably move back to Vermont. So just keep it there for storage. Also probably a good opportunity to get rid of a lot of things, like, maybe just drop the comic books off at a comic book shop instead of hauling them back and around and stuff. But I wanted to get your opinion. Where's a good place? Like, if I wanted to camp out, I'm thinking a place that's, decent amount of civilization. I don't want to be I'm not looking for completely secluded in the mountains, because I have that here in Vermont.
Yeah.
Beach, which I don't have in Vermont. And like I said, some civilization, some mountains might be nice. So I don't know, are you familiar with any places where there's like mountains near the coast, or what are my options in Belize if I was to explore there?
So, of course, Belize City is where you come in. You don't want to stay in Belize City, at least not in Belize City proper. So you'd want to get out of there. So where I stay is a little town called Hopkins. Okay. And it is south of the next kind of bigger town is Dangriga. So from Belize City, you can take a puddle hopper plane to Dangriga, and I'm not sure, but I think you can to Placencia too. So if I were you, I would look at the southern parts of Belize in Placencia, in Punta Gorda. Punta Gorda is a bit more touristy, but not in a bad way. Not like it's not like going. You're not going to find senior frogs or anything, like that. but
okay,
there's the prices of things down there are pretty nice.
I'm looking at Airbnb right now, and I'm seeing like a tiny home for $1,428 a month, and another place that's elevated, on pontoons or something, about $1,500 a month or so. And
because you've got there the mountains behind, mountains to the west and the ocean to the east. Well, I mean, that's really true for all of Belize. There's jungles to be explored, and there's ruins. So if you like the ruins, you might stay on the northern parts of where the ruins are. And if you look, there's also Spanish Lookout, and there's a Mennonite community there, which is interesting. So it's very it's ironic that it's more modern where the Mennonites are than it is in the rural places like Hopkins. So Hopkins is pretty rural, and it's quiet. That's what I really like about it. So any one of those of course you can shoot me. I took a list or look at the list that you sent me, but it was all over the place. If you get close.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, like a whole giant chunk of the country. I'm like, here you go, show me places. So yeah, I didn't get very but
there's also a ruins that I went to that I really enjoyed. What was the name of that? There's ruins up to the north, but then if you stay close to the south, you can go to Guatemala, and I really enjoyed Guatemala. I wasn't expecting. I had no expectations with Guatemala. I actually was thinking of it, kind of like Mexico. I was like, but the northern parts of Guatemala are rural, very rural, and the people were nice. It was very clean, and they speak slow Spanish.
Oh, well, slow Spanish. That's the Spanish that I speak.
Yes. So they were easy to communicate with. They do have their currency is significantly different than Belize. Belize is 2-1, but I think theirs was like 11-1, meaning $1 equals 11 pesos, right, where Belize $1 equals 2 Belizean.
Okay. So the Guatemalan economy is not doing so well with respect to, or when compared to ours, then.
Correct. Yeah. So, but we went to it's the it's the big. Why am I having trouble thinking today?
Unclear.
Unclear. Yeah. So where did we go? We crossed the border and then we went to the pyramids there, and they were Chunich is I think in Belize. But we went to it was they're the ruins that are from the Star Wars movie, the last Star Wars movie where they were in the jungles and stuff. So
Okay.
that was really cool. So we went there, and that was it was one of the big. It's actually one of the largest ruins around. I was like, yeah, but most of it's covered. So yeah, yeah.
Cool.
But if you
So,
really want to have an awesome time, you should stay on one of the reef islands for.
now remember, I
for
don't
40.
fish.
Oh yeah, but there's plenty of sport out there. There's
Okay.
there's definite water sports, snorkeling, scuba if you don't scuba. There's girl watching.
Well, I mean, I excel at that. Um, one thing that I really did enjoy doing that I did not do enough of when I was in Costa Rica was the power snorkeling. With the little
Oh yeah,
the little
yeah.
propeller things. That
Mhm.
was super fun, and that
Mhm.
it's like talk about feeling like James Bond.
Yeah,
So that kind of water sports I could get behind.
yeah. Tikal. That was the ruins in Guatemala.
Okay. Right, well, I might think that, I might break it up again to do sort of like what I'm doing in Berlin. I'll be, bouncing around the city from a couple of different places.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a better, once I get to know the place, like if I was to go back next time, I could say, you know what, I'm just going to stay here for a while, but a little variety is nice too.
Yeah.
So, how's the internet connectivity and the power situation?
Power is easy. I mean, they use standard power, pretty much
But how
110.
how reliable is it? Because I know in Costa Rica, especially near the coast, power outages were like a daily occurrence.
No problems. No,
Yeah,
no,
interesting.
no outages in Belize for power. Internet outages, no, no major problems. I mean, if there's storms, of course, all bets are off. Like anywhere else.
Sure.
But we stay with our friends there in Hopkins, and they have fiber internet from their provider,
Okay.
and I've used it for 2 weeks and had no problems.
So that's totally different from what I experienced in Costa Rica.
You need a backup of a backup.
Oh, I mean, no, they had some internet, on a good day. It was cable, but it was like super slow. The Wi-Fi was kind of spotty, and I had somewhere between somewhere between 2 and 0 bars of cellular service.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely made things challenging, keeping myself online during my work time when I was there. So
Yeah.
now, of course, this was not in a big city. This was out, in a fairly rural, remote part. So it's somewhat to be expected.
I'll tell you a pro tip that I do, which won't surprise you any, is I take a wireless access point with me.
Yes.
And so that way, if I'm like, well, if I don't know the wireless and their modem is there, I can plug into it, get a DHCP, and I know that my wireless is going to be fast anyway.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Well, but again, you're still dependent on your provider.
The ISP's got to be good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm bringing my own travel router when I'm traveling now, so that's going to allow me to backhaul my traffic back through the states wherever I'm at. So
yeah,
so
do that too.
Yes. Last bit related to this, very closely related to this. For several years, I have been using the Chase Sapphire Rewards card.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the Chase Sapphire Reserve Rewards card, which is their top of the line one. When I first had it, I think the annual fee was like $350, and then it went either to $450 or straight to $550. This year, it's about to renew in like 10 days. They've jumped up the price to $795 a year.
And how does that benefit you?
I had to do the calculations. You may be surprised, but I think I'm actually going to do it. And I'm probably going to keep it. So for starters, they give a $300 travel credit right off the bat on everything. So out of that $795, it goes down to $495, assuming I use $300 of hotel, Uber, parking meters, parking garages, flights. All right. So I buy one flight, I get that fee is credited. No problem. They give, I think, $120 of DoorDash credits. I don't use a ton of DoorDash, but I will probably spend $120 over the course of the year. They give Instacart Plus, which I think costs $100 or $120, and I use Instacart a lot. I prefer to shop by myself or for myself, but if I don't have time, I'm like, no, I really just need someone else to, day full of meetings back to back to back, and I have no, raspberries. Click, raspberries show up at my door sometime in the next few hours. That's worth it for me. They also do right now I have a Lyft Pink subscription, which gets me a discount and also priorities of stuff. Of course, generally, not always, but generally when I'm taking Lyft, I'm usually expensing it. So it doesn't really directly benefit me as much. Apparently next year it's going to be different and they're going to be giving you Uber credits instead, something like that. Yeah. So, and then there's the travel lounges that they give you access to, which every time recently I've tried to access the travel lounges, they've been full. So no real benefit there. Kind of a disappointment there. The one thing, and then you get your standard, your rewards points. You get 5 times as many points when you book travel. And I think 10 times the number of points if you book travel through their travel portal. But last time I was buying plane tickets, I looked in their travel portal and the prices were higher, and it was cheaper for me to just go and book them via Google Flights or something like that.
Okay.
So I was like, great, I'm getting more back, but I have to spend more to get it, and I don't think it was worth it. And I was like, come on, guys. The one thing, though, between it and they have a couple of layers of Chase Sapphire. There's the Reserve, and then there's Preferred, which is the lower tier. The one thing that the Reserve, the one that I have, does have that no other card I've seen has, and maybe others do, but not the other Chase cards has, is emergency evacuation and medical coverage. If you are on a trip between 5 and 60 days in length, they'll pay up to $100,000 to get you to a hospital or do emergency evacuation.
That's cool.
When it all comes down to it, that's around $275. I'm like, is it worth that for that peace of mind? Have a couple hundred, 200, maybe $300 a year to know that I could get a helicopter, airlift out of someplace if I had to. I'm like, that is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to do it. So yeah, there you go. I'm going to not be happy about it, and there are a bunch of other benefits that just don't apply. It's save this on streaming services. Well, I get all my streaming, other than Apple, I get all my streaming services, through my cell phone and stuff. So that's already separate. And then other discounts that just don't really apply. So whatever. So anyway, but that's it. I'm gonna suck it up and try to make sure I get the rest of those points. We can talk some other time about my my strategy with credit cards, how I use them and stuff. That might be a fun short micro episode on managing your credit card finances. So, but on that note, I think we should wrap it up because we each have work calls coming up in a few minutes. So why don't you take us out?
Well, dear listeners, since you've already found us, you do know how to find us. But if you want to leave us some feedback, you can do so on the website. We have a form there that's friendly, and we'd like to talk about things that you like to talk about, or maybe not. I mean, it depends on what you want to talk about. But you can find Peter at peternikolaidis.com, yogawithpeter.com, friendswithbrews.com, Mastodon Nikolaidis Infosec.exchange, Wow. Blue sky at Nikolaidis.com. If you want to find me, you can do so at rrlavenderfarm.com.
Ta-da! And on that note, I think it is time to push the big red button.
It is. Whenever I find the stupid thing. Stop recording. All right, stop.